Today, I want to talk about what sometimes feels like a big hurdle, and I'm talking about traveling. And whether this is traveling for work, for fun, for a wedding, for a funeral, or something similar, you can keep your holistic healing on pace. And today, I'm going to give you a bunch of ideas on how to do this. By the way, I'm Adrienne Charlie. I'm a nutritionist. I'm a certified MS integrative health coach, author, and speaker. And I healed my own diagnosis of MS over 10 years ago now. And I help people do the same thing. If you're interested in taking my 12-week program, you can reach out to me at info@nourishaway.com. And I help people reverse at least 50 to 80% of their symptoms while they're on my program. Sometimes they'll heal them all. It depends what stage of MS you're in. But I get people started on the healing journey, and we can all heal 100%. This is not what your doctor tells you, unfortunately, but it is possible. People have healed themselves out of wheelchairs. So let me get back to what we're talking about today. So sometimes life happens, and a lot of us can travel with anxiety, and not because normally of the flight, it's because we're worried about how are we going to eat correctly? How am I going to stay on this healing journey with this disruption that I have to travel with? And you might feel like you'll lose your progress. So I'm going to give you a bunch of tips that's going to help you. I want to talk about my personal blueprint for traveling with MS, how to keep your nutrition on point, how to turn your hotel room into a healing sanctuary, and most importantly, how to keep your nervous system in that healing zone no matter where you are. Let's talk first about the plane ride or the car ride. And we know in airports that it's a minefield of seed oils, gluten, and sugar with all the processed foods that they sell there. And you can't rely on the snack cart that the flight attendants usually pass out during the flight. It's normally something sweet like a cookie or pretzels, which are full of gluten and sometimes seed oils. So I'm going to go over some ideas of foods that you can pack and bring with you. And I'm going to talk about how to keep your protein high and the snacks easy to pack. And this will also keep your blood sugar stable and help you keep full. So I have always made my own trail mix, and this is using seeds and nuts and dark chocolate chips. A little bit of dark chocolate chips are really good for you. So dark chocolate has magnesium and zinc in it, and as long as you can get the semi-sweet, add just a little bit to your trail mix, this is pretty healthy. And I want you to add nuts like Brazil nuts, almonds, walnuts, pistachios, macadamia nuts. And sometimes in the past, I've gotten away with putting some raisins or craisins, so that's dried cranberries, in my trail mix as well. So mix this up, put it in a Ziploc, and you can snack on this during your plane ride or your car ride. You can also do protein on the go, and I have these around my house all the time, and these are beef sticks. So I make sure that they're grass-fed, and I make sure there's no extra sugar or extra junk in it. If it's just spices and some sea salt added to it, it's perfect. And, sometimes I'll get the small version. Archer is a great brand. It's all natural grass-fed beef. You can also try organic chicken sticks or turkey sticks. There's a brand out there called Epic, and it's all animal protein. They do elk. I've seen pork. I've seen even venison. So they've got a lot of great organic animal protein products there as well. So if you look for Epic bars, you can find them usually at Whole Foods or Sprouts or on Amazon. Amazon, you can find just about everything. And you can look at all these different brands ahead of time, and then that way you're prepared for your trip. If you want that crunch factor, you can buy gluten-free crackers. And you've got to be careful because even the gluten-free crackers sometimes have the inflammatory seed oils. So you have to look at the ingredients before you buy them. Or you can buy sweet potato chips. There's a brand that I love. It's called Jackson's. And it's only sweet potatoes, avocado oil, which is a great oil, and sea salt, and that's it. So sometimes I will grab a handful of those and put it in a Ziploc. Or you can find the safe bars. And these can have a little bit of dried fruit, like dates or cherries, or any fruit that can be dried. And these can be Lara bars or RX bars. And there's more out there. You just have to be really careful. So many protein bars have added sugar and extra junk in it. So again, read the labels before you buy them. You can also find little packets of almond butter, for example. So there's lots of nut butters out there. Almond butter, I know that you can find small packets, and this is good fat and good protein. So that's another thing that you can look for. Now let's talk about where you're staying on your getaway. So always make sure that there's a refrigerator in your room. And it's easy if you're staying at a VRBO or a Airbnb, for example. So what I like to do is go grocery shopping when I get to my destination. I usually make that like one of the first things I do when I get there. And what do I buy? I buy some of the things I just talked about when traveling. And I also will buy a bin of dark greens. This sounds really funny, and I do this at home, and so does my husband sometimes. But especially when you're traveling, getting in dark greens, if you can't eat a salad every day when you're out and about, I sometimes will eat a handful of dark greens. And this could be spinach, or sometimes, when you go grocery shopping, you can find those bins of blended greens. And sometimes I will just take a handful and I'll eat it. And I've gotten used to this. I know some of you might think, oh, that's really weird, Adrienne. I don't think I want to do that. But these greens have so many nutrients in them, right? So think BACK, back. So your Bs, your B vitamins, your A vitamin, your C vitamin, and your K vitamin. It also has vitamin E. And also this is a great source where you get your calcium from. So it's really important that you get your dark greens in while you're away. And the other thing that you can do is buy a travel blender. You can go to Amazon, buy a mini travel blender. Then you can make your smoothie in the morning if you're living in a hotel room. That's why I want you to have a refrigerator so you can put your greens in it, your protein powder that you bring, your collagen peptides that you bring, and whatever else you want in it. I put a lot of stuff in mine. I put lion's mane in it. It's lion's mane powder. I put in a pinch of Atlantic dulse, which is baby seaweed. That's where I get my iodine from. Sometimes I put in hemp hearts, which is hemp seeds. I put in maca powder. There's so many extras you can put into your smoothie. And what I would do is I would gather a Ziploc, put in my protein powder, put in all the other stuff, mix it up, and then take a couple of tablespoons and put it into your travel smoothie. And that's why you probably want to buy some blueberries at the grocery store. Add that to your smoothie. And if you're in a hotel, go to the ice maker down the hall, get like a third or half a cup of ice, if that fits in your travel blender, or just a little bit to make it cold, and then add your water to it. Make sure you cover all your ingredients and hit blend. The reason I like these green smoothies so much is because you get like 50% or more of all the nutrients that you need in your day in the morning. And so when you start your day, you feel good about getting most of your good vitamins and minerals into your day. And sometimes I will buy carrots and celery while I'm out and about, especially if I'm in an Airbnb or a VRBO with a kitchen where I can cut these up and snack on them throughout the day. And then also fresh fruit. So I buy oranges, I'll buy apples sometimes, grapes, fruit that's really easy to eat. And if you're going by the Wall's protocol, the fruit that she wants you to eat are berries and the fruits that are not white in the middle, right? So she wants you to stay away for the most part from apples, pears, bananas, because these don't have as many nutrients as the other fully colored fruit, like colored all the way through. So I hope that makes sense. Now, she also says that you can eat those things like apples and pears and bananas, for example, but she wants you to eat the other fruit first. So if you're in a hotel without a kitchen, you can try to make makeshift meals, right? So if you can buy those dark greens again, with your refrigerator in your room, you might be able to buy some shredded chicken or even hard-boiled eggs. So having these basics will ensure that you can have a little bit of good, wholesome food while you're out. So restaurants are harder. What I do many times is I'll order a hamburger without the bun. It's really hard to get grass-fed products in restaurants, but sometimes you can. Sometimes the menu will say grass-fed beef. And if you can find that, go for it. So I'll order a burger without the bun, and then I'll usually do a side salad or like steamed vegetables or steamed broccoli on the side. And restaurants can definitely do that. Or if you're at an Italian restaurant, for example, many restaurants now offer gluten-free pasta or gluten-free options. And this is because people are finding out more and more that celiac disease is pretty serious. And so many people are going gluten-free just because it's so much healthier. And so you can get gluten-free pasta, if you can order that with some shrimp in it, with some red sauce. Now, usually the white sauce has dairy in it, cream in it, which I'd like you to stay away from if you can. But marinara sauce is usually pretty darn healthy. Now, if you're at a restaurant and you want to get a stir fry, for example, it's really hard to stay away from those seed oils because those seed oils are less expensive. And that's what the restaurants tend to use because they're all about profit, right? So they will use the cheapest oils as much as possible. So I'm just going to say, do your best. I don't want you to have anxiety about it. If you're doing the best that you can, and there's a little bit of seed oil in a stir fry, for example, don't beat yourself up about it. Just eat it, enjoy it, and move on. You're going to be fine. Remember, you're going to get home in the next couple of days or in the next week or so. Also, don't forget about the power of grounding. So while we're traveling, our bodies are kind of under invisible stress. And so when we bring our grounding instruments, right, I've talked a lot about this, is, I sleep on grounding sheets every day. And this really helps me get those negative ions into my body, which helps heal and balance out my body every day. And so what you can do is I'm going to show you this. It's a grounding bracelet. So if you plug it in to the grounding plug in your hotel or wherever you're staying, and you can put this around your ankle or your wrist, and you can ground all night long if you want while you're sleeping. Or if you happen to just stay in the room and rest or watch TV, you can put this on your wrist. And this is a great benefit. And you can also bring your grounding pad. I actually have my feet on a grounding pad right now as I'm talking to you. But you can sleep on a grounding pad. And you can also, while you're sitting there in a chair, for example, you can put your bare feet on the pad and get grounding benefits. So this is another idea for you. So getting your bare feet in the grass outside is best, But if you can't do that, bring your grounding bracelet or your grounding pad and use it when you're either in your hotel room or in your Airbnb. And then another idea is get outside as much as possible. Get that vitamin D on your skin. Sunshine and sunlight is so healing. And, I don't want you to stay out there for over 30 minutes and get a sunburn. But if you can just get some sunlight on your skin, it helps not only with healing, but it helps your circadian rhythm when you go to bed at night. And then finally, this is the most important piece of the puzzle, and this is to have as much fun as you can while you're out. Now, hopefully you're not going to a funeral, but at the same time, funerals bring people together. Usually when I go to a funeral, I see people that I haven't seen for a long time, and I make those connections again. And this in itself is healing. So if you're in that situation, just try to make it about connection, because making connections is very healing as well. Hopefully you're on vacation or you're going to a wedding and you're going to have a good time. You're going for pleasure, or you're going to support somebody in your family. Maybe you're visiting family. Make it fun. The more joy you can have in your life, this only accelerates your healing. And those connections will help you do that. If you're on vacation, gosh, go outside. If you're going to a beach, you got to enjoy the beach. If you're going to a city on vacation, enjoy the city. Wherever you're going, just have fun as much as you can, because those feelings of joy and happiness is only going to help you get better faster, I promise you. So have fun while you're away. So in closing, traveling does not have to be a setback for your healing. It might even help you accelerate your healing, depending on how you look at it. With a little bit of prep and a mindset of healing, this can be a good thing for you. Thanks for listening today. So before your next vacation, pack your trail mix, make sure you have a refrigerator in your room, pack your grounding supplies, and find some joy. And until next time, you'll hear from me soon.